Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon and here we play Jank. And today I'm showing off a deck I am calling Burning Blade. It is all revolving around Ceruledge. I think that's how you say it. And the Fighting Sword attack that does 100 damage plus if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX or Pokemon V. This attack does 100 more damage, meaning it does 200 damage, which is freaking awesome on a Stage 1 non-rule box Pokemon, right? I am super excited about this, and I decided to use one of my favorite features that EX Pokemon really bring into the game, even though I'm not playing any EXs, and that is the fact that Charcadet has diverging evolution lines, because we can also play the Armarouge here with the Fire Off ability that lets you move fire energy from your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon as often as you'd like on your turn to power up these Pokemon that we are playing, right? So the two colorless here can be paid using fire energy that Armarouge moves onto it, so you don't have to play double turbo energy and take that negative 20 to damage. Although, I will fully admit, after testing this deck for so long and trying to get to a good spot, which I think I have it at a good spot, might just be the easier way to go. However, I really want to show off this version. This version's a little chaotic, but bear with me. So, like I said, we are playing this Ceruledge, 200 damage for 3 energy. Pretty awesome. Stage 1 evolves from Charcadet. I went with this one because it's got 80 HP. And that's really the only reason. Here we have Armarouge with that Fire Off ability. You really don't want to plan on using Flame Cannon ever, so it's not really important. And then we are using the Tinkaton with the Gathering Materials ability as sort of a draw engine. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. So it's discard 1, draw 3, which is pretty phenomenal. Evolves from Tinkatink, which we are playing the 70 HP one with a single energy attack and a single energy retreat cost. Since we are playing both Psychic and Fire Energy, we are also playing the Radiant Charizard, which, you know, we can do 250 damage for like a single energy pretty easily, right? So, yeah, we've got that in there too. And just because we're playing a bunch of tiny Pokemon, we need this Manaphy just in case we run into something that might benefit from knocking out a bunch of small Pokemon. And let's jump to the energy because that's a little bit easier to explain. We've got 4 Psychic Energy to power up that Tinkaton, the Ceruledge, you know, to attack. We've got 4 Fire Energy. You're hopefully recycling these, so you don't need too much, even though it's there to cover the 2 colorless energy costs in Ceruledge. And we are playing 3 Reversal Energy. Why only 3? Because if you're behind on prizes more than 3 attacks, I think you're gonna have an issue. Yeah, I just, if you're not able to make a comeback with these 3 Reversal Energy, and again, you gotta use them sparingly, you probably aren't using them correctly or using your tools in the deck correctly. And another reason to play Reversal Energy is because the Tinkaton has Special Hammer, which does 90. However, if this Pokemon has any Special Energy attached, this attack does 90 more. So a single energy attachment in Reversal Energy can pay for that, and you can do 180 damage. If you're not behind on prizes, just get a Psychic on there as well, and you're doing 180. So Reversal Energy needs some explanation, right? As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 1 colorless energy. However, there's more. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and if this card is attached to an evolution Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box, Pokemon EX, Pokemon V, etc. have rule boxes, this card provides every type of energy, but provides only 3 energy at a time. So that 3 energy can pay for Ceruledge and the Tinkaton attacks. Can also play for the Armarouge attack. who cares, right? We're mostly focused on Ceruledge and Tinkaton, so we're mainly focused on these psychic-type attackers. Another fun thing I didn't point out before is Ceruledge is weak to dark, Tinkaton is weak to metal, so you kind of have two different weaknesses as well in your attackers. If you count Radiant Charizard as an attacker, water weakness there. So 3 different weaknesses. Wow, how amazing. I don't think it matters too much since Ceruledge and Tinkaton have 140 HP, which is really low because Radiant Charizard has 160. So let's, almost choked on my spit there. Let's get into the trainer cards now, right? So things are gonna look weird, but bear with me. Ultra Ball, 3 copies of. Rare Candy, 3 copies of. We play a 3-3 line of the Tinkatink to Tinkaton. We do not play the stage 1, so we have 3 copies of Rare Candy, and all of them are to evolve up our Tinkatinks to Tinkatons. Make sense? We've got 2 copies of EXP Share. One is going to go on to Armarouge, and as long as that Armarouge does not get knocked out, the other one is going to go on to another Charcadet, most likely, or whoever you think may need energy, but it is to get energy onto that one to save you time later on. So we play 2 copies of EXP Share. You might also want to play one on Armarouge, wait until they lost vacuum that, and then play the second one onto that Armarouge. And again, we are using that Armarouge to get fire energy on it and then move it up to our active. We play 1 copy of Avery because I wanted pure draw in this deck, and Avery's pretty darn good, but we only had room for 1 copy. There's another card coming up you might lower to increase Avery. It's your choice. We've got 4 copies of Trekking Shoes because I found just supporter draw to not be good enough to set up the Tinkatons. 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball because we need our basics. 3 copies of Iono because Iono is a pretty fantastic card and, disrupts your enemy's hand, opponent, and shuffles cards from both your hands, put them on the bottom of your respective decks, and then you draw off the top for each card in your prize card. So if you have 6 remaining, you draw 6, which is pretty strong, right? It can also swing matches pretty well for you if you need to. You play Iono when they're low on prizes and they don't draw very many cards, and maybe they just won't be able to draw out of it. We do play 4 copies of Falkner. I'm a big fan of Falkner because it's like a draw 4 that you have control over. See, Pokemon gives us a lot of draw 2 cards, but if this, draw 2 more. Falkner is one that I actually feel like I'm in control of most of the time because it's draw 2 cards. If you have a stadium in play, draw 2 more cards. So it has to be your stadium. It can't just be anyone's stadium. It has to be yours. But that's a little bit more control than we normally see in these types of supporter cards. And I'm a big fan of this. So it's like a draw 4. And that's kind of the most powerful pure draw that we have. No discard needed. No other hoops to jump from. Just draw 4 and move on. And that's what I wanted. I wanted pure draw because it helps get evolutions out, in my opinion. Professor's research gets real dicey when you're playing a 3-3 line and 3 rare candies, like a 3-0-3 line and 3 rare candies. If you discard one of those rare candies, that is 1 Tinkaton you're not getting out, So, yeah, we've got the full 4 Falkner, and this is the one that I think most people are going to maybe lower and increase Avery or just play different draw altogether. I thought about playing Youngster, but I've been there, done that, right? Next up, we got 2 copies of Super Rod, so we can recover some stuff that we might need. We're playing mostly Stage 1s, and this will get us the basics, the Stage 1, and an energy, which is most likely what you're going to need. We got 1 copy of Boss's Orders for just those situations. We don't have Professor's Research, so we're not worried about an early discard of Boss's Orders. However, we do have Ultra Ball. I have discarded this and been fine. I mean, Maybe it would have been better if I didn't, but I still won that match, so it's fine. We've got 4 copies of Nest Ball because we gotta get our basics out so we can evolve them. And then we've got 4 copies of Magma Basin. This is a card that some of my friends even recommend I lower the number of, but once I decided on Falkner, I needed to pump up the numbers of Magma Basin because I want to make sure I win that stadium more, you know? So yeah, that's a topic that I'm thinking about covering in a future video. Let me know if you're interested in that. But the stadium more, that is. But I want to win that stadium more so Falkner is able to draw 4 more often. And we are also able to use Magma Basin to put energy onto the Armarouge so that then we can move it off of it into the active onto Ceruledge so it can do 200 damage to these 2 prize Pokemon. Or just knock out evolving Pokemon, you know? Most evolving Pokemon, even if they're stage 1s, have 100 or less HP. Not all of them, but most of them. Excuse me, in my opinion. So that's the idea. Let's jump in, test deck, and see how this thing plays out. So just before I recorded this, I ran into error 10097, which prevented me from logging in, which was not great. And the fact that I do not have time to record all my matches tonight, honestly, it's going to be this deck rundown video, and I'll just record the 4 matches I need, probably tomorrow night. That would have been bad news, and would have basically prevented me from being able to show you guys a deck this week. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get this party started, right? Thankfully, I was going to record like a fun little video. Maybe I'll release that video I was recording to show like, oh, I can't get into the game. But then it worked while I was recording that video. So like, if you guys are interested in watching that video, let me know in the comments because it's a little ridiculous, but I had a lot of fun with it too. So let's see, we were playing against an electric deck and they just ran through their entire hand and it is just not great for them. So I'm going to play down a Psychic Energy onto Charcadet, play down that Magma Basin so I can play Falkner and draw the full 4 cards off that. I get Trekking Shoes, that can get me a little bit further. Yes, I will take that Charcadet into there, and boom. And then we can just do live coal for 10 damage. Yep. We've got 2 Tinkatons in our hand. We don't have any Tinkatinks, and we don't have any rare candies. So if we were Iono'd, or if we get Iono, it won't be the worst thing in the world, right? So let's go ahead and play down that Avery, draw 3 more cards. We get another Trekking Shoes. Let's see what we get. Ceruledge. So let's go ahead, take that into our hand. We can evolve the active, attach another energy to it, and we can at least do a Life Sucker. 50 damage. I will say, this is a little odd not starting like a Nest Ball or something that would have got to me a Tinkatink by now. But you know, sometimes it's just the way it happens. So they're dealing another 20 damage to us. Obviously, it's not going in their favor currently. We get another Ceruledge. I will go ahead and play that. And at the same time, I could play Reversal, do 100, take that KO. That is so tempting. I think I'm going to. I don't like this play, but our opponent is really struggling here. So just taking this KO right now, leaving them with 0 energy on board, could be really in our advantage. And we get a rare candy, so as soon as we get a Tinkatink out on the field, wait 1 more turn, then we can evolve that thing into Tinkaton and have some really good draw. And it is the AI. I'm not expecting the AI to do very well here. But we are refusing to play our Iono just to keep them from getting a better hand. Maybe I'm being a poor sport by doing that against a computer that doesn't know any better. But can you blame me? Who doesn't like a quick, easy win? Honestly, I don't really like a quick, easy win too often, but it happens. So 30 damage done to Ceruledge. And what do we get? We get Trekking Shoes. Yay. Ultra Ball. You know what? I'll take it. And I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Manaphy and an Iono. And we are going to grab that Tinkatink, right? Normally it's there to grab evolutions, but we have not got to any single Nest Ball yet, so we are going to grab a... Oh, and we're just going to win. That's right, it's a Pokemon V. We do 200, and it only has 200 HP. And that is a quick, dirty version of the deck, but as you can see, I got things in the hand, there's a Nest Ball, that let me just kind of take dominance in the match. It showed off Ceruledge hitting that 200 fairly easily, even use that Life Sucker attack, which heals you, by the way. Heals 30 damage and does 50. That's a pretty good trade-off there. And like I said, this is Burning Blade. I'm a big fan of this. It's the Blade of Ceruledge with the Burning of Armarouge. If you want to say Charizard's in there. Or I almost named it something with a hammer, but I don't know. Tinkaton might be its own thing in the future. So right now, Burning Blade, Ceruledge, Armarouge, same deck popping off. I don't think I mentioned this, 3 copies of Ceruledge, 2 copies of Armarouge. I did have 4 copies of Ceruledge in here before, and I needed to make room. You know, it just happens. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll enjoy this week of Burning Blade, as long as I'm able to get it working. PTCGL not working for those few seconds really freaked me out. But yeah, so go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're enjoying this deck, because you won't want to miss the matches that are coming up with it throughout the week, and join the Discord so you can hang out with some really cool people and me, and see what decks I'm working on. Go ahead and give your feedback on it if you like where I'm going, or maybe I need to change something because I'm obviously missing something or something along those lines. And anyways, until next time, keep playing Jank.